everybody. Great start. Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. I'm going to be playing with some collage soup images today in a large Dylusions journal. What is wrong with me? I can't speak. This large Dylusions journal is the one that I tend to use for my collage pages. I don't know if this is a little quirk of mine, but I have journals for certain things. I can't really explain why I do it, except that, you know, I like to keep all the Dina Wakley stuff together in Dina's journals. I like to keep my Natalie May scrapbooking stuff in Natalie's journals, and I can kind of see that makes sense. But then it seems to that's gone even further, and I have a definite collage journal as well, and it's this one. So I have quite a collection of collage soup books in my stash. I can always find an image that I want to use, and of course you can download them as well, and you can then print out the images that you choose to use. So this is a mixture of images from different books, including the journal Girly. You can see that one at the back. I think some of these eyes and lips and things are from the Collage Fundamentals, that one that Neve Bailey collabed with Emily on. And I am just cutting out some pieces to kind of think where I want this page to start. So here I'm going in with Iris. You see me using this colour so much. It is one of my favourites. I love purple, but I have realised recently that when I'm buying clothes, I tend to go for blues. So unbeknownst to me, blue also seems to be one of my favourite colours, but it's not a colour I often use as a starting point for my journal pages. So explain that one to me. I don't understand that. That's really odd. But anyway, my garden is full of pinks and purples. So, you know, pinks, purples, blues. Yeah, I can see. They're all analogous colours, aren't they? So why not? Here comes a flash of blue, this turquoise. This is one of my favourites when it comes to journal pages, and I think it's because it adds a lovely pop of colour and contrast. It really brings those other purples alive. So I'm just popping some colour on my page using quite a dry brush. I will have washed it in between, but I generally tend, unless I'm wanting a watery effect with my paint, I tend to give my brush a bit of a blot before I go in with another colour. These are stencils from Natalie May's scrapbooking. I can't remember what this one's called, but you can find all the stencils on Nat's website. And here I'm going in with some stenciling, and I'm going to use the same colours that I have added onto my background. So I've got iris, I've got lavender and turquoise, and then I'm going in with a little bit of stenciling. Okay, so that's my background done, and I am now going to start adding some of the collage pieces onto my page. I'm using Dina Wakley gel medium to stick these in. This is my kind of go-to product really when I'm doing this, unless I'm going to use like a glue stick. But the collage soup images in the books are printed on a really nice lightweight paper, so they stick in really easily with gel medium. You don't need an extra strong glue really for those. So I'm just adding those onto my page in the kind of the idea that I'd mapped out first, so I had an idea of what I wanted to do. So I've got all those bits stuck in, and I just felt that the top corner of this face looked a little bit abrupt with that square edge, so I've just torn it off. Didn't really mind if some bits of paper were left, that would have been fine. And I think it just softens the join really there with the rest of the page. So then I'm going to add these lips on. You can see I've now gone to my glue stick. It's just a little bit easier working with these smaller pieces. And once I've got those positioned, I'm then going to move on to the next part. This stage it's quite nice to go in with a bit of stamping. I'm just adding a little bit more interest. These are also Mixed Media Mark 1 stamps from Natalie May. I love these kind of little flowers. I like how they're working between those lips that are floating off the page, and I'm using black archival ink to stamp those on. Now I'm always banging on, aren't I, about how contrast is important for me on my art journal pages. So of course I've got to go in with a bit of white. Obviously I've got some areas where there is some craft showing through, which for me is quite miraculous. I don't often leave that what's called white space in my journal pages. So that I feel like is a bit of a win, and I like that it works really well with the other colours that are there. So adding these white dots, you can see that just adds a little bit of a lift and a little bit of contrast. And now I'm going to go in with my writing. A little bit of writing at the bottom. This is done in a semic writing style, so a little bit of journaling there, which is not intended for anyone to be able to read. I like the way that looks though. And you can see I added some white lines onto the top part of my quote just to push those black letters into the background a bit more. But here we go. Collage journal pages are a really fun, easy, quick way to create in your art journal, because the work is done for you with the images. You don't have to go painting them yourself or looking for them too hard. It's all there. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again soon.